Hey everyone, today's going to be a little bit different of a video than I normally do. Number one, it's obviously I'm just kind of recording very quickly this little part. It's a whole lot is going on right now for this week and into this weekend, as well as today, the day of my recording this is actually my 14th wedding anniversary, so I have a whole bunch of stuff going on right now. So today's video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about kind of a cornerstone of our reptile community here in Colorado, and that is Colorado gators. Now, I know I've talked a lot about them in many videos because they are always willing to help out and educate and accommodate me whenever I have any weird things going on or if I ever want to do videos. And I've brought them up in a number of them. You can see them in a lot of different videos. I'll try to remember to put a playlist right here that you can see me visiting them at least 2 or 3 different times. But as a lot of people have known, they recently had a fire where they actually lost an entire building of one of their buildings, and there were quite a few animals that were lost in that fire. They haven't completely narrowed down the reason for it, but it doesn't seem to have anything to do with negligence or loose wires or anything like that. It was a really, and it still is. They are still going to reopen. They still have all of their outdoor, like all the gators and crocs are all still there. Their fish barn with some of the other ones are still there. So they are still going to be open, just it's going to be a while before they're able to rebuild and grow back better than they were before. But today I just kind of wanted to take a minute and just kind of talk about the really cool thing that was Colorado Gators, a little bit their history, how they've grown, how they changed, how they got better, and hopefully some really cool stuff into the future. And so let's join me in this fun little just kind of montage, I guess you could say, about a really great place filled with a lot of really cool animals with their own stories and really dedicated people. So really quick for a little bit of history, they originally opened in 1977 as a tilapia fish farm in the San Luis Valley in Colorado. The San Luis Valley has the Great Sand Dunes National Park. It's in the southwest part of the state. And after a number of years, they decided, hey, let's have a more natural disposal system for the waste, i.e. dead fish. So in 1987, they got a few alligators while it was still legal to do that and to act as natural garbage disposals for that, and it worked really well. However, small town America, they began to get the reputation of, hey, they have alligators, and some of their private animals of pets were brought there too. And they became known for that. And eventually, more animals were added, as well as a lot of people just started bringing their animals to them. Pets that they could no longer keep, they were moving, they were abandoned, they were just brought to Colorado Gators. They became so renowned for that they decided to actually open up as kind of like a roadside zoo in the early 90s as a reptile kind of little zoo. And they became more well known for it to the point where they were starting to meet other people in the industry, not only in the United States from people like Tom Crutchfield, but they also ended up learning from a lot of people and even traveling to other countries in Asia to learn more about a bunch of really cool reptiles, mostly crocodilians, obviously. To the point where they're actually getting so big and so popular to where Colorado Parks and Wildlife and a bunch of other local law enforcement agencies, not only in Colorado, but in surrounding states, started to say, hey, Colorado Gators, we just picked up this alligator from a dude in a Jeep in Aurora, Colorado. What do we do? Can we bring this to you? And that's what started to happen, where a bunch of people were bringing these animals to Colorado Gators because they knew nothing to do about, both by private individuals as well as law enforcement and government agencies, and they just kept growing and growing to the point where they were so well known for it that people were just dropping off animals on their front doorsteps. They would literally walk out 7 o'clock in the morning to go turn on the lights and start feeding everybody, and there would just be boxes on their front door of red-eared sliders, of iguanas, of snakes, of baby alligators and crocodiles, even venomous snakes. And it happened more than once, and it still happens to this day. Not really since the fire, but they're already getting phone calls for, hey, can you take my python? Hey, can you take my iguana? Can you take X and Y? And that is how big and well known they were known for this. They got so well known and as acting as a reptile rescue and placed for all of these animals, still mostly alligators, to where they actually became a certified and accredited zoological wildlife park. They adhere to many of the same things that like AZA accredited zoos have to uphold to, different safety standards, animal husbandry standards, enclosure sizes, multiple inspections a year, all that jazz, to where this is something that they are now known for. They're an actual zoological wildlife park. They don't do breeding there. They're just a place for these really cool animals and to educate the public. In addition to, all these reptiles, they've had other animals, cats, birds, all sorts of, they've had different mammals throughout their history as well. And each and every one of these animals, over 90% of the animals at the park are all rescues or relinquishes from individuals or government agencies. And they all have their own stories. They all had names, and they're all really important. And that's most of the alligators out there, and it's a lot of the animals inside, the 40-year-old reticulated python, the almost 100-pound sulcata tortoise. They all had really these really cool stories. And after this fire, which, was of, they just had a new electrical box installed less than a year ago. And while they have not 100% found the cause of the fire, they don't believe it has anything to do with that or any other negligence thus far. They still don't know 100% what the reason was, but no matter what it is, they still lost quite a few animals, and it is really, really unfortunate. For anyone that was following the news or keeping up with them on Facebook, it's their building. They have multiple buildings. They have greenhouse, outdoor areas with their geothermal water for their crocodilians, and their main reptile house. And the main reptile house is the one that actually burnt down. That's the one that housed the iguanas, the pythons, the snakes, the birds, and a few cats as well, which is very unfortunate. It's something that I will bring up because it's, people want to know, because a lot of their people, they've known them for years and years. The actual total number was originally 8, but eventually 9. They found one the next day. Tortoises survived. 1 caiman lizard survived, and 2 caiman lived. And because when I was told about that, because I'm relatively close to the park, Wildlife Gators, not right next door by any means, but much closer than Denver. I actually volunteered because I have the outdoor tortoise area and tortoise house to actually house the surviving tortoises. And that is actually what I've been doing. The remaining surviving tortoises, which are the 6 sulcatas, 1 leopard, and now 2 redfoot tortoises, were being housed at my facility, and they have been rehabilitated, dealing with their smoke inhalation, and they will actually be going back to Colorado Gators the morning that this video comes out. They've built a new temporary enclosure while they work on rebuilding their enclosure, the new building. So it's really, really, really sad, but Colorado Gators has been around for a very long time. Anyone in Colorado really knows about them. They're known around the world and around the country. They've always been very open, very clear, very consistent about what they do, what they have, and they're very knowledgeable and experienced and always willing to share that. I mean, as I mentioned before, there's lots of videos that I've done with them, and you're seeing a lot of my interactions and time with them, as well as even a few weeks ago, I think now actually, over a month now, a high school shadow wants to do something related to animals, and they really, really love reptiles. And so they found me at an expo, and they asked if they could shadow with me, and I said absolutely. So they and their family actually all drove down like 5 hours down to come see me, and in the morning they shadowed with me, learned about reptile keeping, being a small batch breeder, small time educator. And then I asked Colorado Gators, because we have a good relationship, I said, hey, they really want to do this. Would it be okay if I work with them, and help you guys out, and we can volunteer and they can get some hands-on experience at the wildlife park? He said, absolutely. So in this video here, you can see they were learning to get hands-on with the public, learn how to present and talk to them, how to interact with people, as well as working with multiple species of reptiles. And they even got to take part in their alligator handling class, which is, I know the alligator wrestling thing is controversial, but all these animals still need to be inspected physically to monitor their health and well-being, and that does involve bringing alligators out of the water and physically inspecting them. And they do use this as an opportunity to not only educate the public, but a little bit of money to go there, because as we all know, animals are very expensive. That is how it is. They do annual fundraisers like Gator Fest, which is more of an actual like gator wrestling kind of a thing. Not quite as country as what goes down on in Florida, but actually a lot of those alligator guys like at, Sagan Augustine's and Gatorland, they all know the Youngs, they all know Colorado Gators, and I know a lot of them now because of that as well. But just to go to show you with, random people, they asked if they want to help and educate, and they help this young person be able to get experience that they really enjoyed and they really wanted to do, and hopefully will advance their career paths and passions as well. So again, Colorado Gators, just an absolute cornerstone and a pillar in this community, not only in Colorado, but the reptile community as a whole. This is a real terrible loss. They are working on rebuilding it. It's going to be a nightmare to do. They have to get a permit from the state just to tear it down and start rebuilding. It's just bare bones getting the building back up. Before anything else, it's probably going to be $500,000. And as we all know, just keeping them in general is really expensive. So I'm going to put their link for their GoFundMe down at the description of this. We all know the times are hard for everybody right now, but if you are able to, please go check out that GoFundMe, donate to them. If you're around in Colorado or want to be able to make a road trip out, they're trying to be open on the weekends. They're trying to reopen for, they're back to 7 days a week for partial tours and different things like that in the next month or so. So if anyone wants to take a road trip out and still see some really cool animals and some really, really great people, come down and check out Colorado Gators. Again, sorry if this is a little bit more of a downer. I just really want to showcase what great people these guys are, and some of the amazing animals that I had a chance to meet in their lifetimes. So again, thank you so much. We'll get back to our regular scheduled reptile content after this. But again, thank you. Hope you're having a great day, and we will check you next time.